Hi, everybody. Wendy Walker here with Home First. I am here with Jason Frazier, and we are going to talk to him about his origin story. He is currently one of the founders of the Agent Marketer. He's also the Chief Marketing Officer for the CRM WiseAgent. So he has a very interesting story. Honestly, I'm very excited to talk to him, and he is a friend of mine. So I'm excited to put his story out there. So, Jason, tell us a little bit about where you grew up.
Where I grew up. Okay, so
Yeah, we're going way back.
Oh, we're going way back. So okay, I grew up in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. I was born in a city called Walnut Creek, which is in the East Bay. And I've lived, I've lived in almost pretty much every city in the East Bay. It feels like. So I grew up. I've lived in Concord, Walnut Creek, Danville, San Ramon, Alamo, Pleasant Hill, Martinez. And for those of you that know the San Francisco Bay Area or the East Bay will know all those cities. But pretty much an East Bay kid my whole life. Went to school at San Ramon Valley High School, which was in the city of Danville. And all this is California for as you don't know, the San Francisco Bay Area is California. I went to San Ramon High, and so that's where I grew up as a kid.
But you spent your summers down here, right? I mean, I know we've talked before.
Yeah.
You've been down to Southern California a lot.
Yeah. I spent. So I have relatives that have still to this day live in Anaheim. So I used to spend my summers down in Anaheim and hanging out with my cousins and staying with my aunt and uncle down there. So since I was little, so Southern California has been part of my life, and so I know that at least the Anaheim, Orange County area very well. Disneyland
especially.
Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm. That was my jam back when I was a kid. So I know that area very well.
And then you weren't originally in mortgage, not at all, right? But you grew up around it because your mom is actually in mortgage.
Yeah, so I grew up in the mortgage industry. My mom is the president and CEO of Mason McDuffie Mortgage. When I was born, she was actually, I want to say she was the closing manager at Mason McDuffie Mortgage. And she was, I was literally at Mason McDuffie 3 days after I was born in a little baby carrier on her desk.
How funny.
That's how she rolls. She's her work ethic is unparalleled. So
I know your mom very well.
Yeah, as you know.
She's awesome. And I worked with her at a previous company as well. I don't know if we ever told you that, but she probably doesn't remember me, but I remember her.
Yeah. So and she's been in the industry her whole life, basically. What's funny is we found an old newsletter for Mason McDuffie, and she was actually pregnant with me in the newsletter, and it was probably like 4 or 5 months before I was born, and she was with Bill Godfrey, who's the EVP of Capital Markets. And at that time he was the head of technology for Mason McDuffie.
Really?
Yeah. So so it was it's been a family business for me. My background though has been predominantly in technology startups and venture capital. I took a different path. I didn't go to the mortgage route. So I was heavily in the technology space, IT, and that's what I did up until 2009.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so then how did you wind up getting into mortgage marketing and not just IT? I mean, doing a lot more. Obviously, you're super techie, so I'm grateful that you've taught me some things. Actually, a lot of things. And, because I wouldn't be doing all this if it weren't for you and our marketing person here also, Victor. So yeah. I'm very grateful for all the things that you guys have taught me. But how do you transition from technology into mortgage?
So, technology wasn't even a thing that I wanted to be in. It just kind of happened. It just happened that in college, my path was going to be a lot different, but I ended up taking some computer programming classes. And at that time, that was 95. That's when that's basically like anything technology, you were making like $1 million. Like that was the start of the whole the whole tech revolution. And so at that time, I saw an opportunity because it just happened to stick with me. It happened to be easy for me to do that stuff. And so I just kind of went that route. But I've always been more of, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to build things. And so I've always been a little bit on the creative side. And so instead of building buildings, when I was doing technology, I built networks. So
infrastructure and network, yeah.
So I built networks and servers and that whole deal, and then got into more technology. I got into more management and operations, project management. It just happened, again, everything that I did wasn't what I planned on doing. I never wanted to manage anybody or be a manager or anything like that. I just wanted to do what I did.
Just let me do my thing.
But I wanted to be the best at it. And unfortunately, but also, I had my son at a very young age. So I also wanted to make good money. And so the only way to really kind of do that is to get into management some level or whatever. But I helped Mason McDuffie in 2005 as a consultant, obviously with, because of, my mom. And so I helped them kind of build their infrastructure and get everything set up as a consultant. And then 2009, I took a sabbatical from doing what I was doing. And I decided to join the family business. I consulted for, 4 or 5 months. And then they asked me to come on full time because they wanted to do something different. And they wanted to build a different type of mortgage company than that was the norm. And they kind of saw where technology was heading and whatnot. And because of my background and connections, they thought I'd be a good fit to kind of help them take into that next level.
So you obviously were, because you were there when I was there, and that's how we met. So
yeah. And at that time, like, if anyone knows the mortgage industry in 2009, it was very low tech, no web presence, no social media, nothing. And so when I came in, because of the people I used to work with were the people that started Yelp, Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. I had the good fortune of working with a lot of those people. Social media was something that I knew very well. And so I just saw an opportunity to start that. And through that kind of got me interested on the marketing aspect of how do I advertise our business? How do I reach people on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube? And, we were one of the first mortgage companies on Pinterest and the first mortgage company on Snapchat. And through that, I started to really appreciate mortgage or marketing, and really appreciate because the marketing plant now is very intertwined with technology. So
it really is, yeah.
They're very similar in regards to kind of how marketing systems now are very technology based, right? Like, you got cloud systems, you got integration. So it all very fits into my background. And so I had a knack for it. It just ended up, again, being something I didn't plan on, but it just happened to be something that interested me. And so I just started reading books that I could and learning at that time. That was the rise of a lot of, great marketers like Gary Vaynerchuk and stuff like that. And everyone talking about social media and marketing. And so I started the first social media marketing coaching and training program at the end of 2011, beginning of 2012. And at that time in mortgage,
that was basically unheard of, right?
Oh, nobody was doing it. Nobody at all was doing it. They may have had a Facebook business page, but no one was doing ads. No one was doing any training or anything like that. But I was looking at it and seeing an opportunity. And at that time, you could imagine, I generally bring this up in a lot of my talks, is that everyone was telling me, like, loan officers were like, I'll never get any business from Facebook. I'll never get any leads. No one, no one.
I am a prime example.
Yeah. No one was going to do that. Same with agents. They're like, no, people aren't going to, do anything. And that's because everyone had the mindset of like, well, they don't go to Facebook to find real estate. And that's still to this day the case. They don't go there for that, but they don't go online for that either. I mean, you have to
they wind up there.
Yeah. You have to be wherever the attention is. And so I started doing that back then. And so we became one of the first companies to do a lot of social media training, and then helping agents, which did create a lot of great opportunities for relationship building between our loan officers and real estate agents.
Oh, yeah.
As businesses and as people started to see I could use Facebook. I could advertise on Facebook. We could actually generate business from it. And so, it's still a challenge, which is hilarious that it's still somewhat of a challenge today to get loan officers and agents to buy into
to
it.
Get people to buy in, right? Yeah.
And so it works. So, and again, so every year after year, it's just me kind of going more in, and I took on more responsibility when I joined the company. It was only in a technology base, but then as I started getting into more and more things, I created the Prime Services group, which is the concierge group for like support technology, human resources training, onboarding. So basically, like I just started kind of consuming different areas of the business.
Taking out everything on, right?
Yeah, because I saw a way for all of those to kind of work together to create a seamless group for loan officers that were joining our company and supporting the loan officers that we have. It's something that I learned, at a previous job, and I thought it would work well in the mortgage industry. So fast forward to today, every mortgage company does exactly what we were starting to do 6 and 7 years ago. So every mortgage company talks about their marketing now. They all talk about their social media. They all talk about their technology, all this stuff that's now. And it's not me saying like, oh, hey, I was a visionary back then. What I'm saying is that it's funny to see that now, because like back then, that was just like what people should have been doing back then. And now you see a lot of companies doing it for the first time now, which is good, but you still see some people falling behind. And so I've just been lucky enough to have been given opportunities and been paired with other people to help me grow, and working at a great company that fostered that creative nature to kind of go out and do different things and try different things, whether they worked or not, just to keep growing and building. So it's been a good journey, and I've just just been lucky enough to be able to connect with people and learn and do these things, and that's kind of how I got here to where I'm at today.
Well, actually, you just moved too, right? About a year ago now?
Yeah.
So you moved from the East Bay?
I did. I moved from the East Bay. I was living in San Ramon at that time. But yeah, we moved from San Ramon out here to Salt Lake City in Utah last year. And then at that time, a couple months prior, I left the mortgage company to start my own business, which is the Agent Marketer, which is marketing, coaching, and training. And then, so I started that. And then last year I also started doing a lot of speaking. So I've spoken at a lot of pretty big conferences like Inman Connect and CAR and Housing Wire. Started writing for Housing Wire, and just really kind of going all in on creating that personal brand, and doing content. And I'm out here now in Utah, and we've co-founded the Industry Syndicate, which is real estate's first media network, a bunch of podcasters,
really cool.
and flash briefings, and that's been fun. So that move coincided with me kind of taking my business more to the entrepreneurial stage and working, which is great because it's given me a lot of opportunity to work with different mortgage companies like yours and others and other real estate shops and do a lot of different things that I wasn't able to do before.
So you picked up your whole family and moved them out to Utah.
Yep.
But honestly, I've seen you blossom, I guess, in the time that I've known you from now that you're moved out there and all the different things that you're doing. I can say just from my perspective, the Agent Marketer has been fantastic. I've learned so much. First of all, wouldn't be doing any of this without that. So thank you for that. And I'm doing flash briefings, I'm teaching realtors, all of that stuff is fantastic. And I attribute a lot of that, to you and to the Agent Marketer and to the things that I learned, from the Agent Marketer. You guys have expanded on that, obviously. Yeah. And now you have the Industry Syndicate, and you've got, you're now the CMO for WiseAgent, which looks like a fantastic CRM. Full disclosure, I haven't used it, but but it does look fantastic. I've seen the videos and everything, and you've done run-throughs of it. It looks awesome. Right now you're in Utah, you're working with everybody everywhere. You actually spoke at Gary Vaynerchuk's Agent 2021.
Yep.
Which was huge.
Yep.
I felt very special to know you guys that spoke there. And then, you also co-founded the group on Facebook that if people are not part of that, I think you should definitely plug the Snap Pack group, because that group in and of itself fosters so much communication and so much camaraderie and help for people who are getting into social media and marketing. And I think that's something that I really respect about what you do, is that it is more about how do we help people to grow and to, get to that next level than it is about, well, what are you going to do for me?
Yeah. And that's one great thing about the Snap Pack. When we started that, it's been a few years, but that's created really good relationships, really close friendships with a lot of people on there. And it's great to see other people in the Snap Pack meet up in their own regions and states and areas to,
I saw Annette and Eric Larkin were at a new thing the other day.
Yeah. And that's what we love about it. We've created, we've done a few mastermind events, and, we're hoping to do another one. It's just, everyone's gotten so busy. It's just hard to do these things now, but,
busy's not bad.
Yeah, which is good, that, good problem to have, but the, the Snap Hack's been great. What's great about this industry is that when you are able to come together and bring a lot of like-minded people, the way people look at the industry and want to do their jobs and learn and grow, it does foster a great community, which the Snapback has turned into. And I talk, like Dustin and Chelsea and Shannon and
Dustin's going to be on soon. I'm calling him this week to schedule his.
Yeah, you could save, just save that time and, spend it on somebody else that actually
not talk to Dustin.
Out of a story that people care about. I mean, it's Dustin who really cares about what that guy's got to say. But Dustin, he lives here in Salt Lake as well, and he's become a really good friend of mine. Dustin, Shannon, and Chelsea, I met all through Snapchat, and we started the Snap Hack. And, they become, some of my best friends. I talk to them every single day. In fact, I've talked to Shannon, Chelsea, and Dustin all this morning. We literally talk to each other every single day. But like that, that's what's cool about the Snap Hack, or just any community group that you do on here. And I want to go back to something you said, because I want everyone to understand is that Wendy, and this is what I love, and I always like bringing this up because, even though it's a great reflection of what she does, it actually just makes me sound really cool. So that's why I like bringing it up. But all seriousness is that Wendy was the first person to have a mortgage flash briefing on Alexa. So that's something she can always have and understand and say, when anyone says anything about flash briefings in 3 years, when everyone's got one and everyone's doing it, and news stations and media companies and everyone's doing it, Wendy will be one of the first. Not only was she one of the first people to get on to that consumer-facing flash briefing, but she was the first person to do it on the mortgage side. So, which is great.
Ready for something? Thank you for that. You ready for something funny?
Yeah.
So my flash briefing is called the Mortgage Minute, right? I kind of bit off Dustin's the Massive Agent Minute, right? Yep. So I kind of bit off that.
Yep.
Guess who now has Mortgage Minute?
Who?
Without the Movement.
Oh, Movement.
I am. They stole my stuff.
Yeah, well, you were there first.
I was there first. And I'm the only one who has any reviews. So.
Well, you're the original mortgage.
I'm the original.
But the reason I like to bring that up is because if you guys knew Wendy when I first met Wendy, like she didn't want to do any of this stuff. She didn't want to especially be on video. That was one thing that was so hardcore against doing it. Which is hilarious because now I see her all the time on video. She's always doing live videos. She's doing stuff like this. So it just, one of the things that why I like bringing that up is because everyone's always like, I'm not comfortable doing this. I'm not comfortable doing that. I wasn't comfortable doing, I speak on stage to sometimes, thousands of people, and I hated public speaking. Like, I still am not a fan of doing it. I like the rush after I'm done is great. The up to the point and like the first 5 minutes of any talk that I ever give, I hate it. But then afterwards I love it. But that's what I'm saying is that, like, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I like bringing that thing up about Wendy because she's not any different than every loan officer and agent that I talk to that don't want to do it. The difference between Wendy and those is that Wendy's like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And she did it. And that's the thing is, and then you keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And then eventually you're known for doing that stuff. And Wendy, I remember when Wendy, you were telling me like you got excited because agents wanted you to come and teach them how to do this stuff. And that's great. And that's what I love. And because it's like, she was so against doing any of it, but now, and this is how things work. If you decide that you just want to that you're going to do it and you're going to execute it, it's going to probably be bad in the beginning. Like if you look at my stuff and the first videos and stuff that I did were freaking terrible. But that's it. It's like you get comfortable and you get practice and you continue to do it. And then it ends up being something that ends up making an impact with people. And so that's what I think is important to kind of, bring out and highlight is that when this whole thing is like every single person could do it. And that's what I'm excited about because, just like we talked about, this wasn't my path either, right? Like I didn't want to be on video. I didn't want to be doing stuff on social media. I didn't want to be doing any of that stuff. That's not what I wanted to do.
You wanted to be more behind the scenes, right?
Yeah. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do and you get comfortable you get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And now it's kind of second nature. I mean, I still get nervous and stuff with speaking and I'm not super, I get excited about the opportunities, but literally like I remember the first time I spoke at Inman Connect and that they had like 4,500 people at that. And that was in New York. And that's like a totally different like vibe and stage and being
on California.
Yeah, it's totally different. And, that was a rush, but also at the same time, I was freaking terrified out of my mind doing that stuff. So like, I feel you guys. So whenever someone tells me like, hey, I'm uncomfortable, I get nervous doing that. I feel you. I hear you. But at the same time, you got to decide like, you got to, there's no reward without any risk. And so it's good to see people like Wendy that actually go through and execute on that stuff because it works. It absolutely
does. It really does work. And then you can do fun stuff like this and you don't have to, be focused just on business all the time. What I always tell people is, you have to make it, what we used to say was 80% personal and 20% business.
Yeah.
But you came and spoke for us at an event and you actually changed it. You said, no, you know what? It really needs to be like 90% personal,
yep,
10% business. So now we're all kind of trying to follow that same, mentality of, you got to put more personal out there. And I'm still not a super personal type person. I'm not going to put all my business out there, but I try to make it more fun, do things like this where I can get to know people. Obviously I know you decently well, but get to know other people. Like next week we're having a couple of really big people actually come on, and we're really looking forward to that. And I have really gained a lot of knowledge, but also confidence, I guess, from learning what you guys do, and everybody saying the exact same thing of, I was terrified. I didn't want to do it. That wasn't something I was really cool with. Like, you get that a lot from people and then you watch them and they're just great at it. And it's like, okay, how'd you get there? You know what I mean? And it's more just do it. Just get off your butt and do something, whether it's a video or a blog or a flash briefing or something. Like the thing with the flash briefing for me is, I don't really like camera. That's not, it's not really my thing. The whole voice thing is fantastic for me because I don't have to be on camera. Mm-hmm. I can do it from my phone. I can do a, minute and a half of whatever nonsense I'm talking about that day and be able to upload it and get everything done in a quick manner. So pick your avenue. Like when we first started, you were like, well, there's Instagram, there's this, there's that, da, da, da. And I remember Aiden telling me, you need to be on blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I can't do all that. I was like, I just need to pick two. I'm going to pick two. And that's what I started with. You know what I mean? And so to anybody who's thinking about it, you just need to pick two and go for that. And then, I would like to just, first thank you again, because I really am very grateful for everything you've taught me and continue to teach me, because I am part of the agent marketer. But in addition to that, I want you to kind of tell everybody something fun and exciting about yourself that we probably don't really know.
Well, I'm actually pretty boring. Like I don't really have anything fun or exciting about that I do. That would be, well, at least I'm trying to think of anything that I could consider being fun or exciting. Yeah, I don't do a lot. Like I like to work. So
tell us your funnest food exploits. We like to eat. When you're here, we try and take you to eat. And
I do like to eat, so I am the chubby guy for a reason. Like I do like my food. As far, bringing that up, obviously there's that, I don't remember the name, but I'm going to call it Vic's Pizza Place, because to me that's, I don't care what the name, I think it's like the Red Door or whatever it's called. Red West or whatever, but like whatever, it's Vic's Pizza Place. So that's Vic's Pizza Place. So I like that. I do like to sample food wherever I go. I guess I wouldn't say fun, but like what people don't really know about me is when I was saying my path was different. My path was in law enforcement when I went in for pre-law when I went to school. I did ride-alongs with the local police department and the county sheriff's department. I served for the Willamette County Sheriff's Department when I was in school as I forget, I think they call them explorers. So So basically in their Explorer program for the Deputy Sheriff's Department when I was in Oregon and Eugene. So Willamette County is what Eugene is in. So I was in I was hardcore into being in law enforcement. That was what I wanted to do. And so at school, I went to school during the day, and then I was a security guard at a cedar mill, because in Oregon, that's kind of where you go at night to work as a security guard at night. So I did that. So not a lot of people know that that's where that was my path. And then, just again, in school, getting into the computer science piece of it, which totally changed everything. But that's, I guess, I don't know if it's fun and exciting, but that, I did get to go through some pretty crazy things, in that, as far as like, checking out, criminal interviews and stuff like that, and seeing, so the stuff you see on like 48 Hours and that whole deal, I got to observe all that stuff firsthand.
Oh, wow.
and stuff. So that was exciting. It still is exciting to me. I really do miss that. The investigative part of law enforcement, putting puzzles together. That whole thing really does appeal to me. There are some days where I really wish I kind of would have stayed on that path, because it really did interest me. But I'm happy for the life that I've chosen. But I'm trying to think of anything that would be more fun. I like sports a lot. Like that's
3 kids, right?
I would say that's the most exciting thing about me would be my kids.
Your wife is fantastic. She homeschools your kids, which, first of all, that's insane. Bless her.
Tell me about it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it at all.
No, I couldn't either.
Both in intelligence and patience, it would not work for me. But she does a great job doing that. I do have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. They definitely are the most exciting things about me. And anyone that knows my kids, especially my daughter, knows that's a fact. My daughter is she's amazing and hilarious and drives us nuts most of the time. But she's she's awesome. And then my 2 sons are great. My oldest is a good kid. I mean, I can't even call him a kid anymore because he's gonna be 22.
Wow.
22 in June. So, like I said, I had him when I was pretty young, but yeah, so that's those are the best things about me. And that's, when you look at your path that you take and wherever you started and wherever you end up, you have to appreciate everything that's happened along the way, good and bad. And obviously the family part has been the good parts of that. But just to kind of go off of what you were saying is that to me, I'm a big believer in, you can call it destiny or anything, but I believe that you have a path laid out for you and you decide how you're going to walk it and live it and do it day in day, and everything happens for a reason. So the people that I've had in my life, the people that I've worked with, like you and Vic, and having those relationships and people, which is a great thing. Like, when you guys picked me up, took me out to dinner, when I was down there speaking at another event and stuff like that. That's the cool thing about all of this, is that you create relationships, you create people. We just got to hang out, for a little bit. Was that last week or the week before? Last week, right? Last week, right? Yeah. I'm losing it. I don't know.
I don't know what day it is anymore.
Exactly. I don't know what day it is. But it's those things that are just really cool. And to me, that those types of things is when you know that you're doing what you should be doing. And that's why it's kind of cool doing this whole, cause you didn't obviously tell me about, like, hey, I'm doing this origin story thing. I just saw it on Facebook and I'm like, oh, that's an awesome idea. Like, that's a cool thing to do. And again, going back to, when Wendy was just talking about, like, oh, I don't want to do, like, I want everyone to really understand, like, the fact that she's doing this. If I could go back in time, I would have been like, she ain't gonna do shit. Like, she's not. Oh, sorry, I don't know if we could cuss, but like, she's not gonna do it.
I cuss all the time.
This stuff. Like, she was like, I don't want to do it. I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm not gonna become real. So like, I was like, she's not gonna do any of that stuff. And so to see someone do that and actually get over their fears or trepidations of doing that stuff, and then doing it well. And something I've always said is that generally the people that are the most uncomfortable in doing that stuff end up being the best, because it's authentic, it's real, and there is no putting on airs. It's not like, like when I see Wendy in person, it's not like Wendy on video is any different than that person. And so that's
I can't do scripted. I can't. No, I'm not that person.
Like. And that's what people like, and that's what people appreciate, is that authenticity, which you can't teach, can't coach. You either have it or you don't. So it's great to see when you do that. So anyone that's watching this, if you're an agent or a loan officer and you're looking at, like, okay, well, I can't do it. And you could tell, look, you will never have any shortage of excuses or reasons for you not to do something. And it's just finding those reasons to do it. And so when I say that I was uncomfortable, or when I tell you that Wendy was definitely uncomfortable, it's 100% accurate. So again, going back into the whole path of walking what what everyone's doing, what they should be doing. You're going to have bumps and turns and twists along the way, but at the end of the day, like, you're living the life that you decide to live. And so it's this whole thing is just fun for me in so many different aspects, just because of the relationships and because I've known where Wendy started from and where she's at now. And it's been fun to watch.
Onward and upward, for sure. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much, Jason. If you don't know Jason, please follow him. He's fantastic. You want to give the Agent Marketer's site and all of that stuff?
Sure. So I have a podcast. So it's agentmarketerpodcast.com. The coaching group is at agentmarketer.com, but you could get to both the podcast and the coaching site from both websites. Agent Marketer Flash briefing, and I'm the Agent Marketer pretty much everywhere on social media. So Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. And so,
where can they find the Industry Syndicate? I was looking at your hat.
Oh yeah. industrysyndicate.com. So the cool thing about that is, because that's one thing that I think is very important, is what we've created with Industry Syndicate is bringing a collective of content creators in the industry. So we got the #1 appraisal podcast in the country. We got, one of the top agents in Canada. We got podcast marketers. We got loan officers. We got agents on video. We got it's what I say: loan officers, real estate agents, appraisers, title. We got so many different content creators in the industry, and we're building flash briefings, videos, podcasts. We have an app that's going to be launched this month.
That's cool.
So all of that together, it's just it's a one-stop hub for you to find content for those that understand what's happening in our industry right now and that want to grow their business to meet the modern consumer.
That's awesome. No, I'm really excited about the agents, the Industry Syndicate. And I saw you guys doing actual live podcasts while you were at AIM the other day. Yep. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So they have a lot of great podcasts out there. Definitely go check it out. And if you're looking for content, which is always everybody's biggest issue, is what do I put out there? definitely go check it out because you can get ideas and make
Oh,
it.
yeah. Steal it. Well, you could call it stealing, but I call it curation. But check out our blog, check out my blog. Take that. If that content means something to you and you think you could use it, then curate it, change it up, use it for yourself, and because that's basically the best way to create content right now is to curate other people's stuff. Now, again, you give them credit. You don't just plagiarize.
Right. Don't plagiarize.
Don't plagiarize, but learn different things. And there's so many great podcast and video hosts where the thing that I want the last thing I'll say on this is that you can learn so much stuff for free out there using YouTube and stuff. And so that's one thing, is that the content creators we brought together, you can learn things for your business that will absolutely 100% help you without having to pay a dime. Just listen to a podcast, listen to a flash briefing, watch a couple of YouTube videos, execute these things like Wendy has executed in her business, and you will come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't said it better myself. Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to talking to you again sometime, probably.
Yeah.
And going to Red West.
And going to Red West.
Victor just shouted out from back here. Want to make sure.
I'll do it. He wasn't lying. That's good pizza. So I'm down. I'm down.
It sneaks up on you, right? It
does.
Start craving it, right?
I am. Like, now we're on. I'm like, I kind of want that pizza right now.
Well, thank you so much, Jason. We really appreciate it. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And bye, everybody. Tune in for the next one. I think there's 2 next week, actually, that I have scheduled. So see you guys soon.
Thank you.